Joining me now to talk more about the influence of the NRA is Richard Feldman. He's a former NRA lobbyist and president of the Independent Firearms Owners Association. He is also the author of Ricochet, Confessions of a Gun Lobbyist. Richard, thank you very much. I want to start by if you could help us frame this discussion here, because much of our audience is international. Why is the NRA so influential in America?
Well, the National Rifle Association, for a generation or more, has led the fight to protect the right of Americans to lawfully own guns. You know, this debate can get very complicated, but if you ask the questions correctly, you find almost unanimity from one side to the other. We're all against violent, predatory criminals and mentally deranged people from obtaining guns.
We want to talk a little bit about the money involved with the NRA that comes with influence as well. My understanding is that the NRA gave approximately $2 million in 2012 to a little more than half of the members of the United States Congress. Now, in the bigger picture, it's not that much money, but that begs the other question is, why are politicians so afraid, I guess in a way, of the NRA?
Well, they don't have any reason to be afraid of the NRA leadership. What they're concerned about are the tens of thousands of NRA members and gun owners that live back home in their district. The NRA is in Arlington, Virginia, and the folks back home are the ones who vote in 22 months for the next election cycle. Those are the ones who are going to determine who goes back to Washington, D.C., and who finds work in private industry.
You are a former lobbyist of the NRA, so you know their strategy quite well. And I want to ask you, over the past 5 or 10 years, how has the NRA strategy changed in terms of who they target, how they target, and the type where they use their funds?
Well, I don't know that there's been a great change over the last 25 or 30 years. You do what citizens in a democracy do. You organize, you educate, you motivate, and you get your people out to the polls on Election Day. When people criticize and say the NRA or the gun lobby has too much power, what they're really saying is, I don't like democracy if I'm not winning.
When you look towards the future of the NRA, certainly a lot has changed, especially in the last months here. And of course, you've been following the comments from the president himself. How will the strategy change going forward in terms of how the NRA, in your words, educates the public or uses their money to influence potential politicians?
Well, I met with Vice President Biden and Attorney General Holder last week at the White House. And in that meeting, I asked for a lot of things that they could do. We had a conversation, but I really wasn't sure anyone was listening until earlier today, when I saw those executive orders. Many of the things that we all asked for are in those executive orders.
Could I just ask you, you were in those meetings, you just mentioned those meetings. Did you come away with the idea that the president was listening to the suggestions, and of those suggestions, was there any that were not implemented that you would have liked to have seen?
Well, actually, in the executive orders, most of them were things we discussed. The problem in this country with involuntary commitment. The president proposed or ordered today a national firearm safety and awareness campaign. Those are all positive things that focus on the problem. The legislative aspect of what he proposed today, the so-called assault weapons law and the ban on high-capacity magazines, we tried that in this country 20 years ago. It had no impact on crime. There are well over 100 million high-capacity magazines owned by the American people. To think that they're going to disappear mysteriously overnight because you pass a law saying that future ones can't be made, that's silliness. The part that's really interesting, and the part that I'll predict to you tonight, is really going to get the focus of attention, is it partially involves the background checks at gun shows. My organization, the Independent Firearm Owners Association, strongly supports mandatory background checks at gun shows. When you're selling a gun at a gun show, you're essentially like a retail firearm dealer. The difference is a dealer puts you through a background check, and if I were selling the guns, I don't have to. We think that's wrong. We think it's a problem, although it's not a huge problem, it's a problem, and it can be solved. On that, we're all in agreement.
All right, Richard Feldman, live from Las Vegas. I want to thank you for your time and also your analysis on this very important issue. Thank you again.